welcome to Doubles and Trebles in association with dartsnews.com. We've got another interview for you this evening, and we're absolutely delighted to be joined by Damon The Heat Heta, all the way from Australia, but currently residing in Leicestershire. Damon is the world number 48, for those that didn't know. He got his Q School Tour Card just over 12 months ago and has been on fire ever since, really. Former Brisbane Darts champion before he got his pro card, PDC Pro Tour winner, a Grand Slam quarter-finalist in 2020, a Players' Championship quarter-finalist in 2020, a World Cup quarter-finalist, the Australian number 2, widely regarded as one of the sport's most rapidly rising stars. So, like I say, we're absolutely delighted to have Damon with us this evening. And regular viewers of Pieman and myself's content will know that we've been going on about Mr. Heta for some time, hold him in extremely high regard. I've lost a few quid on Damon over the last few months, but it's not through the lack of trying. So yeah, massive thanks for being with us tonight, Damon. Thanks for your time. And yeah, first things first, how are you?
Yeah, mate. Cheers for that intro. Yeah, geez. Bit of a mouthful. I'm aces, mate. Aces. Yeah, just happy to be playing darts, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's quite a long list of what you managed to do as a first year tour card holder. I mean, absolutely incredible, and that's why it's a mouthful in itself. And long may that continue. First things first, it's been a busy time in the world of darts, particularly the last couple of weeks. The season really is up and running now. We've had the Super Series, 4 days, where day 4, you know, hit the headlines with a ridiculous run of results that I'm sure we'll touch on. And then the weekend just gone, we've had the UK Open, which was the first live TV tournament, if you like, in the UK this season. So, yeah, just how are you feeling after those 2 events? I'm guessing it shows the highs and the lows of the game in the space of a week, I guess.
Yeah, been through many emotions. Playing so well and so consistently steady and well. But yeah, obviously the big downer just at the UK Open. Obviously I expect to do well, like I do in any tournament. I expect to do well, but just to go out like that, man, it just really. Just disgusting. It's not much more I can say. They just put it in the rearview mirror, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we'll start on the positives. Day 4 of the Super Series, Volume 1, as we're calling it on Doubles and Trebles. You beat David Evans, Raymond van Barneveld, Mervyn King, Peter Wright, Dirk van Dijvenbode and Michael van Gerwen, all on the same day within about 6 or 7 hours.
Ridiculous run.
I mean, one of the most craziest runs of results on any Pro Tour we've ever seen, coming up just short against the man-informed Johnny Clayton in the final. I mean, talk to us about that day.
Yeah, I felt comfortable through the whole series, really. And I was playing really steadily consistent darts. And I was happy with my performance. Whether I even went out first round, you know what I mean? I still would have been happy with my overall. But to come, yeah, I felt really, really comfortable. And I don't think anyone was really. I didn't felt no pressure whatsoever. And at the end of the day, it was only like the name didn't really matter. You know what I mean? I think the darts is at that level where it's not the name anymore. It's whatever draw you get. I mean, you're hoping. I think the only way you can get an easy draw is if the people you're playing against is not playing up to scratch. You know what I mean? I think it really is anyone's game at any given time. But and then in another sense, you can say that Johnny Clayton doing what he did at the series, oh man, he's obviously just playing another level consistently. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's getting him through, and he's just playing some really good darts. But yeah, I'd take that run, and you know, if you said that to me at the start of the day, oh, this is who you've got. Yeah, you know, you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, good luck. But yeah, but you just don't look at it like that. It's just one game at a time, and yeah, it definitely just boosts your confidence, and that's, you know, doing that on the last day. Yeah, you just expect more and more again. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And just touching on the UK Open, on the opposite end of the emotion scale, similar story for you, unfortunately, to the World Championships, which was the last TV tournament that we saw in the UK, with an unfortunate early exit, but high expectations beforehand. So, like you say, it's in the rearview mirror now, and you're moving on.
Yeah, just disgusted, really. I will. I will better that. That's no doubt. Yeah, I think the Worlds was a bit of an eerie one. Obviously, that was like I didn't feel that I played really bad. I just didn't turn up from the start, and then when I started letting it go, and then it started coming back all right, and then towards the end, obviously, just wanted it too much and concentrated too hard. I think, and that was probably a bit of a downfall there. But the UK Open, I really got no words of what really happened. I'm full of confidence, and I warmed up well and not to do anything like that, I just gonna forget it, and that's that.
well, on the Worlds, there is some history for Doubles and Trebles as a channel because Matt himself put up Danny Baggish as a player to watch. I had money on you to win the Worlds, and to top it all, we've only had 2 interviews. You're number 2. Our first ever interview was Danny Baggish, so it all kind of joins up quite nicely. It wasn't planned that way.
Little did I know when I was watching that game how relevant it was going to become to my life. I mean, that was a crazy game, though. Look, I mean, one thing just before because I want to sort of take you back to your early days, but I just want to say the way that you speak there, it's clear to me that you've got such a strong mentality, and I have no doubt that's been key to you kind of getting to where you've got to, because the way that you talk about that UK Open performance, like that, a bad day at the office, to me, that can happen to anyone, but just seems like that's something you're not going to tolerate, and you really set high expectations for yourself.
Yeah, I've got to, that's not even like a B game to me. Like I just really don't know, and it's not like I'm really going to stew on, because I know that like it would probably be another 100 games or something before that'll probably happen again or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't think it's I dare say look at it the next Super Series. I'm keen as mustard, and I don't think it's going to happen again in a like progressively like that. That's just but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything you need to dwell on, and I'm sure you'll bounce back pretty quickly. But if we could just go back, take you right back to the start, because a lot of people won't know about your sort of early years, and obviously you come from Australia, grew up in Perth, is that right?
Yep, Perth, WA, yep.
Can you just tell us a little bit about your childhood, what it was like growing up as Damon Heta, what were your family life like, and school and stuff like that?
Yeah, obviously I've got 2 other brothers, younger brothers. I think they both look up to me, and my parents as well. I think they sort of look up to me as well. We're a sporting family growing up. I did everything from karate to played softball, rugby, football, basketball. Oh man, cricket. Just pretty much everything. You know what I mean? Our weekends were just pretty much sports. Our weekdays were training for sports, and that's how we grew up. You know what I mean? School, obviously, went to high school with Kyle Anderson, and it probably wasn't until about 15, something like that, when I started playing darts. And obviously my parents and Kyle's parents knew each other before we sort of even knew each other in the dart scene, because it's such a small world. And then, just started hooking into the darts after the parents needed someone to fill in for them. And I was just throwing at home, and I was throwing pretty, like I just had a natural throw, you could say. And but yeah, back then I think the older people didn't like it when 14, 15-year-olds were coming into a pub and playing darts and beating them and stuff like that. And so it just sort of grew from there. Played in like a junior level states, and went from there to the senior state level, and then onto a national level, and just started playing around Australia whenever I could, I guess. I was about 16, I think. So I got out of school pretty early, 16, 17, something like that, and went straight into the construction, roofing pretty much. Started pretty much my own business as well in the meantime. Built up a great life, and darts wasn't really a thing for me. It was more on the back burner. It wasn't like I was looking at it to be a life decision about darts. It was all building a house and just all life stuff. But it wasn't until what was it, 3 years ago, whatever it was, the 2018 is when I've sort of spoke to Gary Anderson and Michael Smith, and had my wife with me. You know, that was the big one to get on board and just to give it a real good crack and see what we can do with it. You know what I mean?
Where did that conversation take place with Gary Anderson and Michael Smith?
Yeah, it was at the World Series in 2018.
So they were out in Australia, yeah, both of them.
Yeah, and so what happened? It was the second night. It come up in conversation a lot with the wife about the darts, because she wasn't really on board at the start. Like, darts, what the hell? What are you going to do with that?
We have the same problem here.
So. And then it wasn't, till she come at the back, and then we literally didn't even, like, our game was coming up, and, you know, we know when we're playing out the back for 3 hours or probably a bit more, and I'm pretty sure most of the time we just sat at the table and I just, rambled on about asking him a bucket load of questions, and then he told me all about the life about it and how to go about it, and even, pretty much convinced the wife that there's shopping to do and all over the world. So,
Is this Gary Anderson you're referring to rather than Michael? Or?
Yeah.
So Gary's the one to blame then, really, for you coming over here, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much more or less convincing the missus, I'd say. So.
Just roll you back a little bit. Obviously, when you're growing up in Australia, like you say, you were always kind of planning. You had your plan with going into roofing and construction, whatever. But was there ever even a consideration about darts? I mean, you knew Kyle Anderson. You've spoke about Kyle. You're obviously very good friends with him. You've seen what Kyle's done in darts. Were you ever looking at that, thinking that could be me?
Yeah, because I was always second to Kyle. In, you know, the growing up and in darts in WA, I always felt that I was, I never gave myself that opportunity to see about that. So, but when I was playing him, I probably wasn't putting as much time as maybe he was, and I was still throwing like a decent game. So I thought, the main thing was before thinking about coming over here and trying out Q School, and that was, if I can't win the DPA, the Australian circuit, then there's no real big point of me coming over here and giving it a crack. So I said to myself, all right, look, this is the plan. If I win this DPA as well as on the journey of getting over here, and or even if I came second, but I still made like the World Series and put in some good effort, or just because I didn't want to come over here just hoping on a card. It's coming over here, going, you know what, this is, I'm going to do this. It's going to happen. And, so it was all about the planning in that way, as well as financial and stuff like that, because I do have a good life back in Australia. I've got everything there set up already, and so I've got to be coming here for a reason.
So obviously you've made that move to Australia, from Australia over to the UK, and that's a huge move to make for anybody. I mean, when you first arrived in England, those first couple of months, how were you feeling? Did you settle quickly, or was it a slow process?
Yeah, it was a bit of a process, because I came here. I was living in pretty much hotels for the first 7 weeks, something like that. So, but to get, I wanted to be comfortable before the Worlds that year, because I wanted to get over all the jet lag and all that stuff. Try and be, because I knew I was staying on for Q School, so I was going to be here for a few. But then I was the backup plan was, if Q School didn't happen, I was going to probably do the challenge tour as well, and see how it went in that. So I was planning at least 6 months to stay here. So I was looking for, at the time, I was looking for rentals. I went to every weekend. I was at a dart tournament, even weeknight ones if there was one on wherever. I was driving 2 hours. I went, Great Yarmouth. I went to Wales. I went down. What was it, Dartford or something? I just went.
That traveling's probably nothing to you though, as Australian. You having to travel miles and miles to get to tournaments over there.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't have to take a plane, so that was the best thing. I just drive wherever I wanted. Yeah. So I just wanted to get the feel of how dart tournaments are run over here and stuff. So I just went to everything, trying to get that match game going and just get that mentality of just playing darts, and that's it. So it was like the first 7 weeks, and then I finally got a rental just before Q school, so that sort of settled us down, and I just went to Q school with just one thing in mind, and that was smash everyone that was in front of me and get a card.
You did that, really, didn't you?
Well, yeah, you did that, yeah, absolutely. So, last year could hardly, as a whole, 2020 could hardly have gone any better. Winning the PDC Newcomer of the Year, just to top it off. I mean, yeah, just how did it feel to be recognised by the sport just a year after you moved over to England, really?
Yeah, the first I think it was about 8 tournaments, and the UK Open, and I think a Euro Tour as well. I think it was 8 or 10 or something like that. The first, I felt I was playing all right, but just not getting the results, and it was a bit, it was a bit like, oh, am I really doing this and stuff like that. But then with the COVID kicking in, and I ended up going back home, and I just, I think I had a different mind frame of practicing and what I really want and how I'm going to go about it when I come back. And I was, as soon as I heard that, like, there was the home tour, I wouldn't care if it was 2 a.m. I was up. Don't worry about that. I was giving it a fair crack because I didn't want to miss out on anything. And to miss out on 5 tournaments, those the summer series, man, it just killed me. And I was just, itching to get back. So my practice was like an intense practice, and I knew what I was practicing for, if you know what I mean. I just wanted to keep playing every night after work, like, because I went straight back to work when I went home. I might as well earn money while I was back there, so I went straight back to work, and it was pretty much every day I was coming back home practicing. Played a lot of online as much as I could to play good players that were here even. I was just itching to get back, so it was like a really good fit. That might have boosted me to finish off the rest of the year in decent style, I guess. I could always wish for more, I guess, but is that being a bit greedy or too much straight up? I'm still learning, so I'll definitely take that start for sure, and just and hopefully I can keep pushing on and reap more rewards later on.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly making the most of it. I bet you get this question from everyone, but what do you miss most about Australia? They're very similar in some ways to the UK, but also very different.
Yeah. Oh, it's just probably, just my place, my family and friends, obviously. And they got the freedom at the moment to do whatever. So
yeah, I bet you're missing it more than ever.
Oh, man, we just see all these photos and everyone that's posted and saying, we're just going out to lunch here and we're going out to the pub here, and everyone's catching up, and their dart tournaments, they got all dart tournaments going on locally there and stuff. So but man, I got lots of support back home as well, so I'm always getting messages and phone calls and stuff. So I can't wait for the World Series to happen back there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll be a big moment for you. How do you find the weather?
Yeah, the weather's fine. Like, I'm in shorts when it's not raining, so that's good.
Good. Yeah.
But it's not too bad. Like, we're spending most of our time inside, but would love when it was open. Oh, it was awesome because we could travel and we can see the world as well as playing darts. So we're getting best of both worlds. You know what I mean? That's another thing of why giving this a fair crack. So, while we're over here, why not see the world while we can? You know what I mean?
So I've heard some players talk about moving around on the tour and stuff, and it's literally just get there, get in the hotel, play the tournament, go home. You think do you make a conscious effort to see the places that you're going as well as playing in there?
Yeah, for sure. So we went to, when the first Euro Tour were on, we went to Belgium. Yeah, Belgium. And Dimmy, he pick us up. I mean, we had a practice with him and stuff like that. But
brilliant.
We went, like, we wanted to go a few days earlier. When we went to Germany, I think we wanted to go like a week earlier and go see things, and then so that's our plan. Like, when stuff like that's on the Euro Tours, especially, we'll definitely go a week earlier or stay for the few days earlier later, or it just depends on when the dart calendar is and stuff. But like, we travelled over Wales as well when when dart tournaments are on. So, we'll go went to a dart tournament, and then we took the 2 weeks and just travelled everywhere around Wales. It's a nice, beautiful place.
So you mentioned the World Series when that returns, hopefully after COVID, but obviously you was a winner of a World Series event, the Brisbane Darts Masters, and that kind of really quite announced you on the page of Planet Darts. Just talk to us about that. Did you feel confident going into that, and obviously winning it massive?
Yeah, it was huge. Because I was working flat out as well, like heaps flat out. In the week before, I played in the Australian Open, which had Scott Mitchell and Jim Williams come over for, and pretty much all the best dart.
Didn't you, I think?
Yeah, and they had all the best dart players in Australia as well that were playing there. So to get that win was like, I thought that was massive as it was. But like I was confident from then, but I was confident that I was going to win that tournament when it was first announced, and like because there was a bit of prize money, and I seen the players that were in it. Like I didn't really know Scott Mitchell or Jim Williams, but I just figured, I looked them up obviously, and then I know they're good players, but I just fancied my chances going, you know what, I've seen that these guys average, I can say they did it per dart, like 30 per dart and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I'm averaging that here. So there's no reason why I can't. So, I had to qualify for it through a WA event. I had to beat 70, 80 odd players there, and then had to go across to, I think I had to fly to Melbourne, which was, 3.5 hours? I think I had to fly there and then drive another 2.5 to Moama, something like that. And then, and then I had to play that whole week. And then that week I went home after I've already won that, went to work for about 4 days, and then had to fly back to Brisbane and then played in there and, win that. And then I had to fly back home, do another 4 days work, and then after that finished, it was like the next morning, 6 o'clock or something, or straight back on the roof. And then I had to go to Melbourne, and then I turned up there and I played all right the first game. I think I was very emotional that game, and then I think that just took it out of me to not play so good the next day. But then fly back home and then work again, and then had to go to New Zealand the following week. So by the end of that, New Zealand, I did not rock up. I felt in myself that I was just you've done too much. So
I think you had a fair excuse for that, to be honest, mate. I mean, let's not gloss over it. You beat James Wade, you beat Gary Anderson, you beat Simon Whitlock, and you beat Rob Cross. I mean, talk about you not doing it the easy way. You only do hard runs, don't you, I think?
Yeah.
I mean, that James Wade game in the first round, like, that was a tight game. That could have gone either way, couldn't it? I remember you hit a massive 164 in that game, and then you actually hit another 164 in the final against Rob. I mean, is that your favourite finish?
Yeah, I know, right? But to be fair, I missed. My mate at work just gives me shit about this, but he gives me a fair bit of stick. That game, he keeps talking about it against James Wade in that first one, and Stuart Pike's just going, he's missed 27 darts and a double.
He does say that, yeah.
And so every time something happens with a dart game, he's on there. Yo, you've missed another 20 odd darts. I'm like, thanks, mate.
But I mean, in that tournament, obviously, every game is special, and you could, to be honest, watching it, you could see how special it was for you to be playing in your home country against these players. But what was that game like against Simon? Because I can only imagine what the atmosphere was like in there. I mean, you've got the Australian, number one that we in the UK, he's the main Australian that we all knew up until a year ago. And to be playing him in your own country and then turn him over, I mean, that's some achievement.
Yeah, I just referred back to, I did play him once and beaten him. It was like a mixed doubles for the Australian circuit in the nationals there, and me and my partner, we got it over him, and I just kept thinking about that, and I just wanted to beat him. You know what I mean? I was just like, nah, he's not having it. Like, I'm going to take the reins one day and I'm going to smash you. So that's how it felt like in my mind. But yeah, I mean, I get on with Simon. He's all right. So, yeah. But, yeah, to do it in your... It's pretty much when you play against anyone, isn't it? It's in your head. I'm just going to smash you. I'm just going to...
But you kind of play with that grit look on your face. You always look like you're so determined to win. I think that's what I like about watching you, to be honest, mate. It's very relatable. Yeah, when you beat Rob in the final, I mean, Rob was the reigning world champion at the time as well, wasn't he? So, I mean, that was just unbelievable.
Yeah, and I think he won the match play or the European, or did he win something like that as well? Or yeah, he came off something, but yeah. Oh man, that was something else. Really something else. I think all the nerves were really gone out of me from that James Wade game, to be honest. Because after that, the next days, I felt really comfortable. I just felt like, man, I was on a big high after this whole week that I've had, and I finally got over Gary Anderson. Like, that was massive. You know what I mean? All those nerves were just gone and that was like the third time trying. I think he got me the last two times. I think one of them was the last leg decider as well. So, I was just thinking about that, going, nah, you're due now. You're due to get it back over. You know what I mean? And I just wanted, because I always thought, like, oh, what's with, like, they've come over so many times and not many of the qualifiers, like, might get through the first one, like, rarely. But then, you need someone to step up and get the second one, you know what I mean? And to, obviously, for it to be like, I think, like, Cadby came on the scene and he got, like, to runner-up in New Zealand. I think it was, like, the year before, something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I just, like, you know what, like, someone just, like, I just felt it was really my time to do it. And yeah, I put in the work and I put in the time and effort, and I just really believe that it was going to happen.
You just mentioned Corey Cadby there. What's happened to him recently? He's kind of gone off the radar, hasn't he?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, to be honest. You'd have to ask,
certainly
someone in the know. Where does he live in? I think he lives in, like, Melbourne or something like that, and I'm in WA, so yeah.
I still think Corey might turn up one day and just, decide he's going to give it a proper crack, because to me, he looked like a player who just needed to, maybe mature a little bit, and maybe he'll come again in a few years and show what he's got, because he's obviously got a lot of talent, hasn't he?
Yeah, he had the thing is, I think he's got the support. There was so much support for him as well. So I think it's, at the end of the day, it's up to him. You know what I mean? It's up to him and he wants to do. Yeah, hopefully he gets back there, I guess.
Well, while we're on players from down under, we mentioned Kyle Anderson earlier. He come from kind of a different approach to yourself, moved over a few years ago when he was a lot younger, and has now gone back for family reasons. Do you still keep in contact with Kyle, and do you think he'll be back on the PDC tour soon?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. He is dealing with his family and that, and he's loving life at the moment back home. So I think at the moment it's the darts is just whatever he wants to play in locally. Darts will always be there, I guess. So he's still 33, so plenty of time. You know what I mean? He might not. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Who knows what the future holds? But he's still got plenty of time.
From a personal perspective, I imagine you'd love to play out with Kyle at the same time over here.
Oh, we've had discussions when we were 15, 16 going, that we should, we'll play for Australia together and we'll play doubles and we'll, we'll smash it up. And when we were playing at the Brisbane, was it Brisbane or Melbourne, when I played Kyle, when I played Kyle on stage, and we had like lunch, I think, we had lunch that day or something like that, and we were just saying to each other about, remember when we were young, and if we ever made the big stage, that we'll play our first leg ever play, we'll play it left-handed. But I don't think the PDC would have liked that.
No, wouldn't have done much good for the World Series.
Oh, man. That would have been hysterical, but...
So you mentioned Michael Smith and Gary Anderson, obviously, but since you've moved over, have you found anyone on the UK scene? Have you been pally with anyone in particular, or anyone that's been particularly helpful for you?
Yeah, pretty much all of Max boys in the sports management company. When we first got here, it was straight away. we pretty much just sat with them the whole time, like all the first pro tours and stuff like that, and yeah, they've just like taken me in, and yeah, we're always having meals together and stuff, and yeah, they're just like a dart family, I guess.
So who's in that stable for those that don't know?
Yeah, so you got Jose, you got Dimitri, you got John Pipe, you got Ted, you got Jermaine, and you got James now. Yeah. Who else you got? Well, Mac, obviously. You got Adam Gaulis now as well. Yeah, he's getting amongst it.
Yeah, quite a few youngsters.
Quite an eclectic mix as well, isn't it? All around the world.
Yeah, and I think Keegan jumps in there as well at the table sometimes. Yeah, and how can I forget Glenn? You can't forget Glenn. I'll never hear the end of it.
No, yeah, he's not a man you want to miss.
We've already created some Glenn Durant beef because he and Danny Baggish did share the same walk-on tune for a while. So there's a rivalry there that we are looking to create at Doubles and Trebles.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get Glenn on and stir the pot a little bit more.
Get a real beef going.
Yeah.
Well, I did have my first walk-on song was that the Kings of Leon Sex on Fire, but I didn't realise that Yellow Klassen had it. So that's when I had to change it for the world.
So we've got another rivalry now. Yeah, you and Yellow have got the same.
We'll bring that one up as well. Yeah.
I think I'll just stick with this one, but it seems to work with the crowd.
Yeah. You know what? It's very important to get a good walk-on song over here. Once you get the crowd on side, that's a massive advantage.
My favourite walk-on at the moment is Big Dirk. I absolutely love that. I love that.
I think everyone does. I've seen it. When was it? The first Euro tour when he came out. Oh man, couldn't help but it was awesome.
So aggressive.
Even though I know it's coming, it still makes me laugh. When
such a big unit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a big lad. Yeah.
Well, I backed him last week for the UK Open. He drew Gary Anderson in the first round and then Johnny Clayton in the second round. I mean, I was unlucky a little bit there with the draw, but as is the way with the UK Open.
So you mentioned Jose being in your stable. Just want to touch on the Ali Pali. I mean, your first experience there, you played Jose in the first round, didn't you? And it's crazy to think, really, because at the time, you two would not have been like sort of well-known players. Now you're two of the probably hottest properties in darts coming up. So you beat Jose there, and then you lose to Duzzer, another one of your mates there. So what are your memories of that first experience with the crowd in and stuff?
It was amazing. I had obviously I come across with some teammates from back in Australia, and we were just all in this one apartment. We stayed together the whole time. It was just a big. Yeah, it was just like it was just something that was building up, and it was just feel like I was really in the tournament. I just felt like, this is I didn't know Jose from a bar of soap, and I think it was like the morning before or something, or the day before, I went in for a practice at the hotel, and he come in and just introduced him and Mac and that. So Mac introduced us, and that was it. I didn't know nothing about him. And then, so in my head, I'm just going, I'm going to smash you. But, it turns out he's just a real nice guy. So I don't know about smashing. I think...
they were tight.
They were. I played a steady game, to be fair. And Jose's probably was just thinking, I don't know who this guy is. And, when someone does that, what I mean?
I don't think Jose knows what day it is half the time, to be
Or what double to go for sometimes.
Yeah, well, definitely not there. Let's not get into that, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, and then you played Glenn as well, didn't you? And obviously you end up losing that game, but that must have been a great experience for you as well.
Yeah, that was probably my learning curve there, to know where I have to be and where I have to be at. He was obviously cooking throughout that year. A lot of I think he was weary of me, where as more than probably what Jose was, and I think that's what made Glenn. He just turned up and turned it on, and he was on form there, where I was riding riding the dream of just keep going and whatever happens. But yeah, to get through the first round, I was already stoked and think that, you know, that was a small goal that I ticked off. And I think probably the Australian fellas that were here, they ended up going home before watching that game as well, and so they left, and it was just by myself or with my wife, and and it just didn't feel like it was like the party vibe scene that we were going for, or how it was in the first game. So, but I was stoked for sure. It just put me in good stead for Q School.
Yeah. Well, that leads us on to Q School brilliantly. What's kind of with Q School not being on TV, and it can be kind of, particularly the last year just gone was kind of complicated with 2 locations. Just how was that experience for you? Was it as you expected? I know you expected to get a card, but when you turn up, was it in Wigan that the year you got a card?
Yeah, Wigan.
Well, that's about less than 2 miles from where I'm sitting right now. So maybe I'll go down next year. But yeah, what was it what you expected? The hustle, the bustle, and
I think it's because I came over early and I went to a tournament in Great Yarmouth, and there was like 500 odd people there at this dart tournament, and there was like 60 something boards or 70 boards. It was ridiculous. Nothing I've ever seen ever. And like, you know what I mean? You might get 128 in Australia, and it's just this big open space, and everything's all spread out, all good and that. But to have 500 people in this small space where I was playing on a board, and there would have only been about not even a metre and a half, and there was already a back wall just there, and then you had people sitting along the side, and then you had kids were running, and one of them kicked me as I'm throwing darts in a game. I'm like, is this normal? Or I didn't know. You know what I mean? I was like so mind blown about how darts was run and how it is over here. Like, it's a much different, very different atmosphere. So I think that helped me sort of adapt straight away to what Q School. So I rolled up there knowing that there is going to be 500 people, and you know what you're in for. Obviously, you don't really know the setup, but yet once you go in there, you got the practice boards and you got everybody. It is a bit intimidating, but at the end of the day, you got to look at it. You've only got 8 games. That's all you're playing throughout the whole day, 8 or 9 or whatever it was. That's all you're playing. You're not playing 500 people, you know what I mean? So you really had to take it just that one game at a time. And when you went into the main venue or the main part where you play, it's so professional, and it's so what would you say, the setup is like immaculate. I can't, like, going to these Pro Tours, I love them because everything's just really, really professional, and you're literally just there throwing darts at a board in like silence. You've got one person chalking, you got everything set up probably to the mill. Yeah, it's just darts at the end of the day. So yeah, I really love it.
And at the recent Super Series event, correct me if I'm wrong, is it the players that score on the book? Because with COVID protocols, are players scoring other players' games? Is that still happening?
Yeah, that's it. So whoever's last on the list has to mark the first game, and then and then whoever loses chalks. Yeah.
So who's the worst with the mathematics in the head then? Let's call someone out. Except for Jose.
It's pretty self-explanatory. You know what I mean? There's not too many things you can stuff up. I think when it stuffs up is when the actual iPad just goes, or the battery goes flat, or someone's it's not too difficult.
Because obviously when we're watching it on PDC TV, we only see board 1 and 2. Is there much of a difference playing on them boards to playing on like 14 or something? Is it a different experience?
Yeah, because it is more enclosed. It is it's full boxed off, so you got no one and nothing to worry about, and it is a little bit more intense. But I think you don't really take too much notice. I think you're just too focused on what you're doing and what darts you're throwing. Where on the other boards they're only got half measures in on the side, so you can hear someone if they do have a hissy fit, you know what I mean? You can hear them right next to you, or you know what I mean? But like there's security in place or not. You got board officials and stuff in place, so any noise really, it gets hushed down pretty good. So and everyone's on board and pretty respectful most of the times. Yeah.
What's the I like the intricacies of the Pro Tour events because they're not on proper TV. And I mean, even last week we saw James Wade turn up in a pair of white trainers and played like, I don't know if you came across him. He had what we call Reebok Classics on all day. Like everyone's in the normal black shoes, like any normal dart player.
Looks like he's just kicking around in the kitchen, didn't he, Wade?
Yeah, and then there was a couple of guys, including Clayton, that didn't have their normal dart shirt on. I think they were just wearing a standard Red Dragon dart shirt. I don't know whether you noticed that. That was strange to me. But what's kind of the weirdest thing you've seen on the tour?
Oh, it's probably at first. I think it was seeing Peter Wright with his hair not done.
Oh well, yeah, that's
yeah, it's a bit of a shock, isn't it?
I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen you like this.
Have you seen the picture?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
You must have seen the picture of Peter Wright from like the olden days where he was in the BDO.
Oh, yeah.
I showed it to my missus once and she was like, no, I'm not having it. I said,
he's been around a while, hasn't he? Yeah.
But, for all the jokes and stuff, I mean, it seems to have given him that focus, doesn't it? He's given himself a character and he loves it. He plays his best to it.
Yeah. When you look at someone like that and when you like first go to talk to him and stuff, you're probably what you're expecting. It's not what you're expecting, but he is just he's pretty down to earth guy when you speak to him. He's got a lot of time for probably anybody that would go and ask him a question or something like that. He's pretty good like that. So so for him to take on that character and then play darts the way he does it, and it's that's pretty decent. None less keep changing darts as well. That's another skill in itself again. Like, man,
yeah.
Are you much
of a do you fiddle with your equipment at all? Do you try different things out, or are you quite set in your ways?
Nah, I'm pretty set, mate. I've had these Alamos since I ever first started playing, and I've just kept with the Alamos, and no one really uses them apparently, and I think I'm the only guy. But yeah,
who cares if they're working?
Nah, that's it. I don't. The only thing I've ever tinkered with is obviously I got my darts now that I got from with Harrows. But the only thing I've ever done is I've never even really thought of it until Kyle said something about, oh, why don't you just put a bit longer points in so you can do this and make a little bit more room for your 60s and that. And I was like, oh, maybe I will. So I just stuck it. I just stuck 1 point in. I've gone, yep, these will do. And so ever since then I've just kept with bit bigger points.
So do you think you'll ever get to a point in the future where you might start trying new things? And if you ever have a dip in form?
I'd see that's my mindset. I don't think it's sometimes it's not the equipment. I mean, maybe I might change a little bit maybe I might change darts in say 4, 5, 6 years time or whatever. But I don't think I'll just change just because I'm playing. If I'm having a bit of dip in form, I'll just stick to what I know.
So in terms of practice, will you be practicing at home? Are you a big practicer or a few hours here and there?
Yeah, I like to practice. I've got a few lined up this week. Just practice online with Ted and Keegan. Just for a couple of hours. We'll just smash it out hard for about a couple of hours, playing all check out games or just all little different games and stuff. And then put it down. But then I'll pick it up again for another couple of hours just on my own or something like that. It's pretty much like throughout the day. I don't stay on for 8 hours at one time. It just obviously you just get a bit I think you need to step away like you do in a game. You know what I mean? You go on, you play 11 legs or whatever it is, 10 legs, and then you step away 15 minutes, and then you're back on the board, or 5 minutes or something like that. But I like to mix it up. But if you're going good, I think I'll practice a little bit longer and keep that good form going and stuff like that. But if it's going bad, I will just put it down for a few hours and then come back to it later. I think that's probably what most good players do.
Yeah, fair enough. Go on, Matt.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to ask you while it come into my head, because I always like to hear this. I mean, have you got a favourite player to play against in terms of style? Is there someone who you think, I really like playing this guy, the pace is really good for me? And equally, is there any players that you really hate playing?
I don't think there's I don't think there is a hate or a like, because I do just stick to my own game, I guess. Where if someone is playing fast, good for them, or if they are playing slow, I don't mind it. It doesn't. I don't think anyone paces really bother me. The only thing that probably would bother me if they kept like right on my back, and sometimes I might lift my back leg just that little fraction like in the last dart or something, and if I hit them or something like that, you know what I mean, then that's a different story, I guess. But no one really seems to bother me in that sort of sense.
Yeah, so just before we wrap up, Damon, again, massive thanks for your time this evening. We've been on over an hour already. You mentioned goals earlier. Just wondered what your goals might be for this year and beyond, really. Have you set yourself some goals?
Yeah, so obviously the next goal is 32. It is a bit of a mission as well, like looking at rankings and stuff like that. It's such a, to get to that 64, it's, a decent way to get there. You can get there in the 2 years when you look at it. If you were to look at it over 2 years, I think you can get there quite comfortably if you're playing pretty steady and picking up points here and there and money ranking. But into the 32, then you know what I mean? That's another big jump. It's like you start after getting into these, you got to get to these semis or you got to get to these quarters to start picking up, fives, and you got to start picking up 10,000s. And then hopefully, when you make a major semi and stuff like that, you're talking some decent money to get you to that 32. So that's sort of my next step. I don't want to just, have like, I always want to do better than my last year, or, that's how I've always worked in my darts, is I've always tried to better my last year's results or my last week's results, or I'm planning to do better than I did last year. And I think obviously there's probably going to be more tournaments, or I'm going to be playing in more tournaments than I did last year. I mean, I missed a fair few, I guess, same as a few people, but I believe I'll do better than I did last year.
Brilliant.
I suppose you've also got the benefit of you're not defending money from 2 years previous, whereas some players above you will be as well. So, I mean, the thing presumably for you will be in these big tournaments, to have runs in these big tournaments. That's where you can get the money quicker, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And and I think as long as I just keep entering these big tournaments, I keep qualifying for them, then I believe I'll keep getting better in these TV tournaments.
Fantastic. Well, we were already watching with interest to the Damon Heta story, and we certainly will be from now on inwards. And like I say, just really big thanks for coming on. And we're still in the growth period of Doubles and Trebles YouTube, so it really helps us, and very, very, very much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah.
Easy.
Just echo that, Damon. Thanks for very much, and obviously. We've also got a giveaway that we're going to be running alongside with Damon's help. So massive thanks for that. Got a shirt that we're going to be able to give away from Damo, and he's going to sign it for us as well. So be more info on our Twitter page about how you can get yourself in the mix for that. But massive thanks for that, Damo, again.
Yeah, too easy, boys. Thanks.
All right. Cheers, mate, and take care.
Cheers, mate. You too.